Another week, another chance to sit down with the head coach of Indiana Volleyball, Sherry Dunbar-Kruzan. Coach, this past weekend, two very tough teams in Minnesota and Wisconsin, two losses. But this team seems to have a lot of mental toughness, and that's going to be big heading forward into another tough opponent, Nebraska. And this being a road trip, you also have Iowa on the road as well.
Yeah, overall, when we look back at the weekend, it gave us a lot to look at as far as numbers and play, because I think we actually took some risks this weekend, whereas against Purdue, we didn't do that. And we kind of talked about it on the show last time was, we didn't know how good Purdue was because we didn't take any risks and put ourselves out there. So against Minnesota and Wisconsin especially, I thought we really tried to show some of our competitive identity and resilience and really press them in some things. And it was nice to see some of the freshmen really step up. Kendall Bierman, I thought, played really well. And it was just a good test for us and a good test for us to learn from. And that's really what we wanted to do from it. Obviously, we wanted to win. But if you don't win, then you want to learn. And I think we had a really good film session and breaking down numbers and things like that with the kids yesterday. And I thought it was very informative and a great discussion.
This weekend, heading out west to Nebraska and Iowa, it'll be kind of the first road trip. We did travel to Purdue. That was more of a day trip, though. The first road trip in Big Ten play. And it's a little bit different than non-conference because you're there one night and then you're leaving. How do you make sure the players are ready for that kind of change? I know obviously the older players are used to that, but the freshmen, again, another new step for them.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's another transition step. We'll go into charter planes now, which we're excited about. Not so much of the bus rides and the commercial flights and things like that. So we'll actually have more time to focus. When you're on the road, I actually enjoy it because we're with the kids so much and we get extra film work and extra rest time and just extra time to be together. So you think it goes kind of chaotic because you're traveling from place to place, but there's actually some downtime in the hotel and time where we can spend as a team and as a program that I really enjoy.
There's obviously a lot of comparisons back to the 2010 team with this team, and you've talked about how you like the chemistry, but another important statistic, the RPI rankings came out, and now you're all ranked 40th, the best since that 2010 season. Tell the fans a little bit about what that means, that RPI number.
Well, I think, RPI is similar in some ways to all the other sports, and, basketball talks about RPI a lot. Some of the measures are a little bit different in how they approach theirs, but, basically 64 teams are getting into the NCAA tournament, and what you're looking for is to get a high enough RPI with wins and losses and strength of schedule. That's really what RPI is, that at the end that you're in the discussion, right, on Selection Sunday. And last year the highest we got was 64, and this is the highest at 40 is the highest we've had since 2010, which means that we scheduled well, and we performed well in the non-conference schedule, and the teams that we beat are beating other teams. You kind of get their schedule of wins, too, when they beat teams. So, that's pretty exciting. And then once you get into the Big Ten, it changes. It fluctuates some, obviously, but you're playing so many people that have such a high strength of schedule that it actually helps you and maintains that a little bit. So it doesn't mean you don't have to win a lot of matches. We understand that you got to win 9 or 10 matches maybe in the Big Ten to get in the NCAA tournament. But at least, it was a real eye-opener yesterday because we talked so much about our non-conference schedule with our players and everything, and I thought they were so excited, and I was happy we got to express that after going 0-2 on the weekend. You kind of come in that, that Monday and you're like, oh man, 0-2. But then to hear that and to hear the work they're doing is paying off. I told Chris Virtue today, our strength coach, and he's like, man, that just gave me goosebumps because that's more motivating, gets them more hungry now to actually get in and do that work and understand that it's paying off.
And then finally, Megan Tallman will be 2 assists away coming into this weekend from being the all-time leader in the rally scoring era in assists. Talk a little bit about what she's meant to this program and how you've seen her change as a player over her last 4 years.
I think she's changed as much as anyone's ever changed in our program, and that's a good thing. I have thoroughly enjoyed coaching her, being with her. We do so much with the Leadership Council, and she's a captain this year, and just the conversations we have. And so, I look at kids that way. I mean, obviously she's performed very, very well on the court, and especially this year I'm very proud of how she's performing. But I really enjoy having her in our program, and I think she represents Indiana very well, our program and the university itself. So, I'm proud of her. It's a great accomplishment. It's not anything to overlook in the Big Ten and in a program like this that's, had rally scoring for a lot of years, and to be able to break that record in her senior year is quite an accomplishment.
2 assists away, but hopefully just 2 of the many more assists we'll see this year from Megan Tallman. As always, more information on IU Volleyball on IUHoosiers.com.